Low battery mode. A Quietude story about emotional burnout. You don't think you're burned out, you think you're just efficient. You become very low maintenance. You don't ask for much. You don't react dramatically. You don't make things a thing. People describe you as calm. Calm is a compliment. It also means no one checks on you. Somewhere along the way, you became emotionally self-sufficient. You answer your own spirals. You soothe your own disappointments. You downgrade your own expectations before they inconvenience anyone. You don't explode. You edit. And now you're tired in a way that sleep does not address. It isn't the work. It isn't even the people. It's the constancy of being reasonable. You are reasonable when someone cancels. Reasonable when someone forgets. Reasonable when someone disappoints you in a small, polite way. You have made a career out of absorbing micro-disappointments without making a sound. You call it maturity. You call it growth. You call it choosing your battles. But sometimes, quietly, you wonder, when was the last time you were unreasonable? You notice it in strange places. At dinner, when everyone is laughing, you are participating correctly. You contribute. You nod. You even initiate a joke. But internally you feel like you're buffering. There's a half-second delay between experience and reaction, as if your emotional life is being streamed through unstable Wi-Fi. You are present, just slightly compressed. You've watched every version of Love is Blind, every country, even Germany. You do not speak German. You do not need to. You recognize the universal tone of someone saying, "I feel like we have something real," through a wall. You watch strangers cry over connections formed in isolation pods and think, at least they're risking something. You haven't risked emotional inconvenience in years. You have optimized yourself for stability. No rough edges, no sudden needs, no late-night confessions. You're very easy to be around, and that is starting to feel suspicious. You iron your pajama shirt. You catch yourself halfway through and pause. There is something bleak about ironing clothing meant for unconsciousness, but you continue. Because the shirt responds to effort. You smooth it, it smooths back. There is relief in that transaction. People are more complicated. You vacuum the room 3 times. Not because it's dirty, because repetition feels like control. You create those neat lines in the carpet and think, there, order. You cannot vacuum your emotional life into visible stripes, but you can try. Here is the thought you don't say out loud. You're not exhausted from doing too much. You're exhausted from needing so little, from shrinking your needs so they never threaten anyone's comfort, from being fine so consistently that it has become your personality. You have trained people not to worry about you. They listened. You don't want to break down. You don't want drama. You don't want to be rescued. You just want someone to notice that being low maintenance is still maintenance. That calm people still have storms. They just host them privately. When your phone switches to low power mode, it dims the screen and reduces background activity. It does not apologize. It does not explain itself. It simply conserves. You wonder what would happen if you did that. Not theatrically, not with an announcement, just dimmed a little. Answered slower, explained less. Let silence sit without rushing to fill it. You suspect the world would adjust. You suspect some people might even lean in closer. You also suspect you are afraid to find out. Emotional burnout for you doesn't look like collapse. It looks like competence. It looks like being admired for how steady you are. It looks like being the one people describe as so strong. You are strong. You're also tired of strength being your most interesting trait. Tonight, you don't reinvent yourself. You don't make rules. You don't declare boundaries in a voice memo. You just notice the pattern. You notice how often you disappear into reasonableness. You notice how rarely you let yourself be inconvenient. And that noticing feels like the smallest shift. Not dramatic, not loud, just honest. If this felt familiar, the overfunctioning, the emotional self-editing, the pride in needing very little, you don't have to package it nicely. Just leave a comment, not a polished one, not an inspirational one, just something true. It's a strange thing speaking quietly and not knowing who's on the other side. If you're here, let me know. And if this feels like somewhere you can sit for a moment, stay with quietude.